Hello there ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another PvP strategy analysis video from Guild Wars 2 Online. Today we're going to be checking out a Burst Bleed Spec Warrior. Weapon sets, we've got the Great Sword and then Dual Swords. For our utility, we're using Mending as our heal. Utility skills of Bull's Charge, Frenzy and Fear Me, following up with Signet of Rage for our elite skill. As you would expect, the Bull's Charge Frenzy combo combined with 100 Blaze is one of the most classic moves at the moment for the warrior. We can also combine Flurry on the end of that as well, which is actually a great combination you can use there, or you can use it the other way around, use Flurry first and then go into 100 Blades. As far as our armour goes, we've got one going with the Runes of the Undead. This is giving us a huge amount of condition damage. It's actually converting our toughness into condition damage as well. PvP Sword of Earth, PvP Sword of Accuracy, so we've got a bit more critical chance, and of course we want to inflict even more bleeding in from that. And then we've got the Sword of Earth again for the Great Swords, that's going to give us even more bleeding effects. For the Amulet, we've gone with the Rabid Amulet. This gives us a little bit more toughness, which we're then converting into condition damage because of the runes there. So it's giving us a huge amount of condition damage, which you can see. HP is fairly low, but toughness is pretty high, which makes up for it fairly well. As far as the traits go, we've gone 0, 25, 30, 0, 15. 25 in arms is giving us a 30% chance, 33% chance to cause bleeding on crits, which is of course what we want to be doing. Bleeds you apply last 50% longer. Burst skills with 10% chance, increased criticals. That's obviously going to give us even more critical hits coming in from Flurry, which is going to stack up bleeding because of the 6% chance rune. Forceful Greatsword, so it gives us more might when we're using the Greatsword. This means if we open up with 100 Blades in a combo, say with the Bull's Charge, Frenzy, 100 Blades, takes up a load of might, swapping over to the Dual Swords for the Flurry, dealing extra damage because we've got the might, which is adding to our condition damage. So you're seeing a lot of synergy between these two weapon sets. Last but not least, increased damage, 10% on bleeding foes. So as you can expect, that gives us a bit more damage doing it the other way around. So say you do open up with Flurry, and then switching over for the 100 Blades, you're going to do extra damage because you're getting they're already bleeding. In defense, we've gone thick skin, so extra armor and health is above 90%. Sure-footed, increased stance duration by 25%. It means this frenzy actually lasts for 5 seconds rather than 4. Adrenal health, regenerate health based on adrenaline level, just a little bonus there, not really particularly needed. Last stand, activate balanced stance when you're dazed, knocked down, launch, push. So basically it's just give us a bit more survivability. Stability is obviously fantastic. 5% of toughness is given a bonus to power, so that's increasing our damage a little bit more. Like I said, we've got loads of toughness we've already seen, so that's going to up the power a little bit, removing a bit of that toughness. And then gain 5 seconds of retaliation when you're struck by a critical hit. Triggers once every 15 seconds because you're going to get crit quite often in a PvP match, obviously. So that's obviously going to keep retaliation up on us a fair amount. Last but not least, we've got Discipline. Gain 5 strikes of adrenaline on a weapon swap. This is going to give us a bit more adrenaline gain. Warrior Spirit, run faster while wielding melee weapons. This is just giving us obviously a bit of a speed boost for travelling around the map. Able to move around a little bit quicker in combat as well. And then Fast Hands weapon swapping recharges 5 seconds faster because you're going to be swapping weapons quite a lot with this build. So that's how the build basically works. And now we're going to get into the start of a game. So as you can see, we're going to be on the Battle of Kylo for the match we're discussing. And you can see our warrior now heading in towards one of the courtyard areas. We come into the game a little bit after it's begun. But it's going to be an interesting match anyway, so it's quite a good one to discuss this. So we're heading towards the clock tower, and I'm going to slow the video down as we come up here. So seeing a player across in the middle there, using our number 2 skill to close the gap, rather than running around the edge, that gets us right across and onto the player straight away. It's of course important for us to jump that gap as well, because he was the only one on the capture point, so the blues were taking control of it. We've now taken it back to a neutral point. So now we've got an engineer's just turned up. He's dropped a supply drop in on us, obviously provided us hit us with some CC, which is going to be a problem. So we need to get rid of him. So we're going to pop our fear bomb. You can see that pushing him away out to the side. So we're maintaining control of this capture point. Got one player heading in on us now. We've got a player we can see down in the background of our own team as well. So obviously we want to try and get them back up as soon as possible, but we don't really want to give the blue team any chance to really make any headway on capturing the central point on the map. Heading in now, going to try and go for the revive on our teammate here. But as you see, blue team have got a couple of players in the centre, so we need to skip off of him and head back in. We really don't want them capturing that point because at the moment it's fairly close. The Reds have a slight lead. Hitting him there, laying down a flurry. He's got 15, 16, 18 stacks of bleeds on him. Obviously going to do some massive damage and push him away. He's going to have to flee from the fight. You saw us there also, we swapped over to our greatsword to just dishing out some AoE. So just trying to scare people back. 100 blades is such a noticeable ability at the moment. A lot of people are using it. So it does tend to actually scare people away quite well. Just going to speed the video up to a more normal speed for a few moments. So the red team have pretty much won this fight. We've had some pretty good CC coming in from ourselves. That Fear Bomb definitely made a big difference at the start. And we managed to stay on point, which, like I said, is very important in these kind of encounters, especially at the start of the game. So now we've got an encounter. We're coming down towards their spawn. The red team, like I said, have got control of all 3 points of their map. So you just want to try and spawn camp them now. This is just a structured PvP game. It's not really a tournament match, so you've not got the skill you find in those 5v5 games from all the players. You saw us basically using the rotation there, so I'm actually going to skip the camera back a second and just discuss the full rotation being utilised. So with balls charging in, we actually missed it there, weren't quite in range. We've also popped Frenzy, so we've got our speed boost coming in. Closing the gap with a number 2 skill, and then hitting him there with the flurry. So this is going to stack up the bleeds. Our frenzy is coming down as we're dealing it, but it's going to stack up a whole pile of bleeds on him. Quick weapon swap into the 100 blades. He's still immobilized, so we're able to get all that off as well. That's taken down to about half HP, and on a tanky necromancer, that's not bad at all. And speed the video up a little bit here because this 2v1 engagement isn't that interesting anymore. Again, just using another flurry there to dish out a bit of damage and bringing him down in good time. We were actually bled out there as well and go down, but it's not really an issue. We've got a teammate on us very quickly. We've got 3 players actually from the blue team coming straight at us. So now we've got a 2v3 engagement. Obviously we're trying to spawn camp them, so they're going to be coming back at us very quickly. We're having to fall back as well. We're taking quite a lot of damage. And we're being brought down there. So they did well to bring us down in good time. They haven't really focused on the thief. We got focused heavily there. Obviously the main target of that engagement. Next up, we've got this fight over at the courtyard area. This is down the side. So we've got a little bit of a skirmish going on here between both teams. Quite a few players from the blue team are here, so it's definitely worth us getting involved and stopping them from making any progress on the rest of the map. They've recaptured the mansion at this point in the game. This is a few seconds after we died anyway, so we've just come back into the fray. Popped our frenzy there and kind of wasted it, I think. I'll take the camera back again a second just so we can watch that little bit of a skirmish there again. So we balls charge in, and we got our frenzy up as well. Our flurry isn't up at all, so that's why it was mainly wasted to burn that all at once. So we're just DDing with our normal auto attack, which while it stacks up bleeding, we're not really focused on anyone. You can see us just sort of flailing about, really wasting that ability, kind of just panicking there and trying to dish out as much damage as possible. So we've got 15 stacks up on that necromancer before we had to fall back a little bit. Popping our elite skill gives us some swiftness, which helps melee combat so much having swiftness up. You want to try and maintain it as much as possible because you move around so much quicker and more effectively anyway. So bring down that necromancer very quickly. He's got some support from his teammates, but we're going to be able to finish him off hopefully. Notice as well, we're not focusing on bringing down players straight away. We're looking out for the targets that are around them, trying to keep track of what's important. So this Mesmer here actually does a brilliant job of confusing us. So they've summoned up an illusion, and they've actually come up to the left-hand side of the screen up there. You can see the actual player up here. Laying down a bit of damage on them. They're actually going to manage to bring us down as well. So both of us now are in the down state. They did a fantastic job using their down state abilities to really confuse us. The Mesmer are very effective at that, and so is the Thief as well, at trying to stay alive while in the down state. Fortunately, we stacked up this pile of bleeds on them just before we went down, so I'll just skip the camera back. Here we are, we're stacking up a few bleeds on them using flurry there. So we've got 7, 8, 9, 10 stacks before we went down. So that's obviously ticking away at them at the moment, and that's going to give us that rally right about now. So there we go, you sort of bring him down. Having to fall back out of the fight a little bit here. Kind of wasted ball charge to do it, but at least we're staying alive, and that's what really matters. This point is where you can see the blue team have managed to recapture the clock tower as well, but they're losing over here at the mansion, so we're going to manage to capture that point. So So the main thing about this build is you are able to stay on point fairly effectively. You don't want to be moving too much because of course these weapon skills on the greatsword can throw you out of the point quite easily. Again, wasting the flurry there, that's definitely something you want to try to avoid as much as possible. It does immobilise them, but you've got to make sure you cap it just right. We dropped a fear bomb in there, just trying to keep these players busy for the time being, really. The red team have got 2 points captured and they're very close to victory. This is basically just time wasting, which is definitely an important tactic in Guild Wars 2. You want to just try and keep players immobilised and just busy, keep them trapped somewhere where they're not actually helping their team gain any points, and you can definitely make a massive difference even as a small group of players. So there's 2 of us there and we managed to keep what, 8 players, not 7, 8 of their players busy there. So absolutely great gameplay there right at the end, just to show you how you can really keep a team distracted to give your team an advantage, even if it costs you a couple kills, a couple deaths, sorry. You obviously that gives them 10 points, but if you lasted more than 5 seconds you got 2 points captured. You've obviously gained that 10 points anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you very much, and leave me some comments below.